When you look in the mirror and raise your hand, you see a single, unified being, a solid object acting with one mind. But biology reveals a different scale. You are a walking, breathing colony of roughly 30 trillion individual cells, each operating as its own microscopic entity. This creates a massive coordination problem. Left to their own devices, these independent microscopic blobs would be a puddle on the floor. To take a single step, they must follow a strict, multi-layered command structure. Understanding how human action is possible requires us to build the body from the ground up, starting at the first level of the biological hierarchy. At the base of the hierarchy, individual cells group into 4 distinct types of tissues, each with a specialized role in the machine. This diagram illustrates the first 2. Epithelial tissue forms a tightly packed grid to create waterproof barriers, like your skin. Connective tissue is the opposite. Its cells are sparsely scattered in a web-like matrix that provides structural support. The other 2 are built for action. Nervous tissue forms branching, interconnected pathways for rapid communication, while muscular tissue aligns into parallel bands designed to physically contract. These 4 tissues integrate to build functional tools. In the heart, muscular tissue provides the pump, nervous tissue sets the rhythm, and epithelial tissue lines chambers, all held together by a connective matrix. When these organs synchronize, they form the 11 systems that keep the colony alive. But structure is just the hardware. To see the machine move, we have to trace a single command as it travels through the hierarchy. The command starts in the nervous system, traveling through the body's fundamental communication cable, the axon of a neuron. At rest, the neuron's membrane uses a sodium-potassium pump to actively push positive ions out of the cell. This constant sorting builds up a negative electrical charge on the inside, effectively arming the cell like a loaded spring. When a stimulus hits, the membrane opens. A rapid influx of sodium ions rushes back inside, flipping the charge to positive and creating an electrical spike called an action potential. This spike triggers its neighbor, which triggers the next, sending a self-renewing wave of electricity cascading down the entire length of the axon. Eventually, that wave hits the synapse, a microscopic void between cells. The electricity cannot jump this gap, so the signal must change its form. The diagram shows the conversion. The electrical spike triggers the release of chemical neurotransmitters. These molecules drift across the gap and dock into receptors on the other side, igniting the next cell in the chain. The command has translated from electricity into chemistry, and it's now knocking on the door of the body's physical engines. As the chemical signal reaches a muscle fiber, it targets the sarcomere, the microscopic engine room of movement. In a relaxed state, the muscle is locked. 2 parallel proteins, actin and myosin, are physically blocked from interacting by a continuous protein barrier. The nerve signal triggers a flood of calcium ions. The calcium binds to the barrier and pulls it aside, finally exposing the active binding sites on the actin strand. Now the engine engages. Myosin heads reach up to grab, pivot, and pull the actin strand toward the center. It's a continuous ratcheting motion powered by the cellular fuel, ATP. As these filaments slide past one another and overlap, the entire muscle cell physically shortens. This is the sliding filament theory in action. Macroscopic strength is the combined force of trillions of these microscopic ratchets firing at once. As trillions of sarcomeres shorten, the force ripples upward, causing the entire muscle belly to contract. To create movement, this force must be transferred. The contracting muscle pulls on tendons, extremely tough bands of connective tissue anchored directly to the skeleton. Bone is a dynamic connective tissue, a porous matrix of living cells and mineralized collagen that constantly remodels itself to support the weight of the body. The shortening muscle pulls this living bone lever across the pivot point of a joint, creating physical displacement in space. Movement is the result of absolute integration. The muscular system provides the power, and the skeletal system provides the framework, functioning together as a single biomechanical unit. Trace the action one last time. A single myosin head ratchets along a protein strand. Trillions of those strands shorten the muscle pulls the bone, and the organism takes a powerful step forward.
A thought becomes an electrical wave. That electricity triggers a chemical release. The chemistry ignites a mechanical contraction, and that contraction moves a living framework. The vertebrate body is a masterclass in coordination, where the simple movement of an ion across a membrane eventually results in the complex, purposeful stride of a 30 trillion cell colony.